and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Holly Walsh and Josh Widdicombe, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Holly, which category would you like?
Politics, please.
No problem. No, politics is the category. Let's have a look at the answer. 11.5 billion. What is the question?
What is the amount I stand to win if the new royal baby is called Trevor?
Is it how many laxatives is Nigella Lawson going to put in her husband's next cake?
Is it how many words are there in an iTunes terms and conditions update?
Is it how much of Eric Pickle's department agreed to cut from their biscuit budget?
Is it how many times does Berlusconi have to be found guilty before he actually goes to jail?
Wow.
Is it how many times a day do I currently have to listen to Get Lucky by Daft Punk?
Is how many Tesco club card points do you need for 10p off a pack of cereal?
Is it how much has Dara O'Brien got his legs insured for?
You've never seen them.
Yeah.
You've never seen. You know how magical they are.
Is it how many times does a former Radio 1 DJ delete his internet browsing history when the doorbell rings?
How many Ferrero Rocher has Julian Assange eaten in the last year?
Is it quite simply think of a number?
No. Do they have the correct answer?
Yes. How much money does George Osborne want the government departments to cut in the spending review?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Chris Addison. Thank you very much. Yes, the question I was looking for is how much money has Chancellor George Osborne agreed to cut from government departments in his latest spending review? Do we know when the spending review is supposed to kick in? When is this for?
Well, this spending review, it's essentially cuts, isn't it?
Yes.
They call it review, but they mean cuts.
Yes.
I mean, imagine we all spoke like politicians. I, in fact, reviewed my toenails this morning, but I haven't been for a hair review for some time.
The departments are all fighting about it, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They're fighting, and some departments have done worse than others. The MOD have got off quite lightly, but that's quite understandable. It's very difficult to negotiate with the MOD because they've got guns.
I dare they just walk in and just put them on the table.
Yeah.
Or spin them. That'd be particularly impressive. They said, "Oh, I'm quite happy to negotiate this."
Yeah.
You know what
Pick a number.
other departments got off really lightly. I mean, nothing happened yet again to the Ministry of Sound. And you should have seen their Christmas party last year. It was massive.
I think they're not kind of thinking it through. There's easy ways to save money. I was a student. That's who you go to. Like, I just think Osborne make a massive bolognese. That'll get you through for, like, a year. And then I think Britain would save a lot of money if, say, we just got really drunk before you went out. That saves you a lot of money. And, like, if he just gave us his Orange Wednesdays code, that would save us a lot of money. Did you see the cartoon that George Osborne voiced about this to explain what the cuts will involve?
Is it Tory Story?
What type of pensioners are being singled out in this?
Rich pensioners.
Rich pensioners.
The worst of all the pensioners.
And how do we know which ones are rich? How do we possibly estimate?
Have they got a blue light underneath their trolley?
No, Dave's not rich. Dave's pensions what talk like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Gonna have one day, in like 50 years, there'll be people going, can I have my pension, yeah, blood, yeah? Besides, like, totally needing some beans and that.
Well, what they need to do, the government, they've got to cut stuff, and they've just got to think out of the box, haven't they? So they could, in fact, cut old age benefits and cut youth unemployment if they did the very logical thing, which is allow old people to burn young people.
How is that?
They're just not thinking. They're just not thinking.
You're right. They're
through-
right. They're not thinking.
it
Why
through.
did that not come from
No,
them? I
no
think
idea.
there's somewhere there's a dry whiteboard with that written and a line gone through it. Where somebody went, I don't know
Let the
why.
weak die and burn young
They didn't
people.
say that. They were like, no, don't rub it off. Just put a line through it. We might come back to it.
Yeah, let's leave that one we're just going to put a pin in that one, and we might come back to it again. By the way, what did Labour say they would do about these cuts if they win the next election, which takes place before these
Ed
cuts go
Miliband
away?
said he would keep them exactly the same. There's only one policy he's going to change, he said, and that was immigration policy, and that is basically to prevent his brother from coming back from America.
In other news, who proposed a singing duet with George Osborne recently?
It was a soul singer, wasn't it? An American soul singer called Jeffrey Osborne.
Jeffrey Osborne,
And the reason he did it was because at the G8 last week, Obama kept on calling George Osborne Jeffrey. He did it throughout the meeting.
Three times in a meeting.
Three times
Yes.
in a meeting he called him Jeffrey because he got very, very confused.
I don't know how he confused him with a soul singer, because everyone knows George has no soul.
But the worst bit was he called Osborne Jeffrey and he called Cameron and Clegg Zippy and Bungle.
I think Obama's just getting revenge for the time that Prince Philip called him waiter.
It's not someone cool. If I would worry now if I met Barack Obama that he would call me Anne. Anne Widdecombe. No, not because I look like Anne Widdecombe, no.
No, it's not because he looked like him either, right? You've got to presume that Obama didn't actually think it was Jeffrey Osborne, the soul singer. May I also say congratulations to Jeffrey Osborne after his 1982 hit On the Wings of Love. How well he's reinvented himself in the last 30 years to become Chancellor of the Exchequer, right? It's not a facial similarity problem.
I think Obama always gets confused. Do you reckon for his first term he thought Hillary Clinton owned a card company and Gaddafi was a duck?
I think Obama probably just walked into that room of people and said, I'm sorry, you just all look the same to me.
In other news, which former European leader is facing doing jail time?
I'm hoping it's Hitler.
They found him.
About time he got his comeuppance, isn't it?
That'll show him. That'll show him. That'll stop his cough. Yeah, he'll learn his lesson then, won't he? A couple of months in chokey. No, who is it?
Berlusconi.
It's Silvio Berlusconi,
Yeah.
who got
He's
jailed
been-
for 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years for sleeping with an underage prostitute. But he's offered to serve 25 if he can share a cell with her.
To be fair to Berlusconi, people get at Berlusconi, but to be absolutely fair to him, he's one of the very few politicians who has genuinely tried to engage young people in politics.
Do you know who he sent around to collect this, the underage prostitute, who he sent around to collect her from jail?
Mick Jagger.
No. He sent around one of his ministers who used to be a showgirl. They send for my ministers. Dun, 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 dun. No, I need you in minister mode. Takes off the big feather thing. What do you want?
Berlusconi had an excellent record, actually, of employing women in government. What he'd do is he'd see a woman that he fancied, ask her if she wanted a job, and then give her one in the cabinet.
Boom! I'm here all week.
I don't think he's ready for the sort of bunga bunga parties they're going to have in prison.
You know what?
Do you think he needs to be wearing some kind of bunga bunga?
Yeah. The thing that really hurts me
What is
about
a
bunga
bunga
bunga, what the thing that really irritates me about bunga bunga, right, is not that I haven't had bunga bunga, but I'll die never knowing if I've had bunga bunga, because no one will explain what bunga bunga is. And I'd like to think that I've done a lot of things, and maybe bunga bunga was one of them. In other news, which fashionable pair have been in trouble with the law?
Is it Wallace and Gromit?
Yes.
It's Dolce & Gabbana.
It is Dolce & Gabbana. Why are Dolce & Gabbana?
They've been convicted of tax fraud in Italy, which is like being convicted of paying for underage sex in Italy.
I think this is a great example of the trickle-down effect of high fashion, because they actually committed tax evasion in 2005, and only now has it hit the high street.
At the end of that round, the points go to Josh, Holly and Andy. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage featuring people in the news and ask you to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features David Cameron.
Oh, I love being out and about campaigning. It's a chance for us to get to know genuine voters on the doorstep and find out what they think about our policies. So tell me, sir, what do you feel about gay marriage? What, to you? Piss off! No, I didn't. Do you mind if we just step up here for a minute? Just got a small chore to do. There we go. That's Boris's house. I'm just popping a dog turd through the door. Anyway, I think that's enough campaigning for now. I'm a bit tired. Haven't had a holiday since Ibiza. That's nearly 3 weeks ago, so... Well...
Oh, hello! Hello! Yeah, it is good, isn't it? It is a chance for me to show that I'm not a geek.
Yeah, that's right, David. Ed, sorry.
Yes, I'm not a geek. I tell you what, though, why there's so many leaves, but there's only one tree?
I think perhaps we should just get on with campaigning. Maybe we should go in here.
Oh, good, the shop. I can buy some Sinex. Yeah. Hello, I'm the...
Oh, there's no need for you to introduce yourself, young man. I know exactly who you are. You're from Wallace and Gromit. No. Anyway, welcome to Liberal Democrat HQ. This is a very important thing. We're stuffing thousands of envelopes with my job applications for when I lose my seat in the next election. Hello, Nigel Farage here. I drive a big purple bus. That's a euphemism. Anyway, people understand UKIP's policy on immigration, but we have others. I believe, for example, that all British people should be allowed, like me, to dip their clothes in mustard.
Now we play a round called Wheel I Am. This game involves Andy, Gary and Josh. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. Let's have the first topic. Let's spin the wheel. The first topic is science and technology. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
I quite fancy being a wind farmer. No, because I think out of all the farmer jobs, it's got to be the easiest, isn't it? You know, cock crows, oh, wake up, out of bed, check the wind's blowing, yes it is, brilliant, back to bed again. Alternatively, you know, cock crows, out of bed, wind's not blowing, sod all I can do about it, back to bed again. Because they never actually invent what you want them to invent. I am still waiting for a decent alarm clock, yeah? Maybe one that doesn't, in fact, alarm you, right? Maybe one that just nudges you awake, right? Gives you a little cuddle, makes you a cup of tea, a little tickle downstairs, then phones up work so you can't come in.
Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. OK, the next subject, please. Our next subject is charity. Who wants to go with us? Joshua Whittaker.
Charity work doesn't always go well. I had a situation when I was 10 and my school was raising money for the local church roof, because it's always the church roof. I don't know what the problem is with church roofs. It's like they're spending the money elsewhere. You're going, yeah, well, the roof's ruined, but we've just installed a hot tub, so come and praise the Lord in there. We all had to do different things, and me and my best friend Thomas decided what we were going to do. We were going to walk the 3 miles to our nearest market town wearing Wellington boots full of custard, right? We thought this would be good. And it would have been good, but for one small issue, which was when preparing the custard for the Wellington boot, my mum didn't think that we might want it served at a lower temperature. And you would serve it on an apple crumble. I tell you now, there are a few things in your life more terrifying than looking at your Wellington boots and seeing them steaming at the entrance to stars in their eyes. I said, I'm not putting my foot in there, that's boiling hot. Mum said, isn't that the challenge? No, that is not the challenge. Don't know if you ever put your foot in a Wellington boot of boiling hot custard. A few of you might have. What is it? It's similar to a hot bath. With a hot bath, it goes something like this. It goes... That is too hot. With a Wellington boot of boiling hot custard, more like this. That is too hot. And suctioned on. It's like a medieval torture devised by the Chuckle Brothers. Yeah, and this is doubly humiliating, because I've had to go in 3 times to break the skin on the custard.
Thank you very much, Joshua Whittaker. OK, that leaves us with Gary. Let's see what topic you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is education.
One time at school, I lost my thesaurus. I couldn't find the words to describe how upset I was. I remember sitting in psychology class, learning about Pavlov, thinking, no stupid dogs. And then the bell went and we all had lunch. I'm sitting at home, this guy knocks on my door. Have you ever considered an alternative energy supplier? I'm like, no, I'm quite happy with food. It's got to be a tough job going around door to door encouraging people to photosynthesize. I can give you the leading cause of anaphylactic shock in a nutshell. I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. My nan recently claimed that she once gave a hand job to Albert Einstein. What a stroke of genius. Technically, shoplifting from the Apple store only counts as scrumping. Sex education lessons at our school were pretty weird. The teacher made us shout out rude words to get out of our system, like bum, willy, cocks, and we had to carry on doing that until he came. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gary Delaney. I'm going to give points to whoever in there. Well done. Come on back. Now we play a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So, teens, what is going on here?
Have they revealed the new title sequence to Dad's Army?
Are you sure it's not the new EasyJet route from London to Glasgow?
As I wish it were.
Is it a route from Hawaii to Ecuador made longer to accommodate the length of new in-flight movie The Hobbit?
Is this the carbon footprint of a fair trade grape?
Is it, in fact, the school run for Angelina and Brad?
Is it the new route for stacking over Heathrow?
Is it places EasyJet consider as London?
Yeah, you know the correct answer
Is this an American estimating where Europe is?
Somewhere.
It's the route that Edward Snowden is attempting to take to avoid US justice.
That's absolutely right. Thank you very much, Josh. Yeah. This is the escape route that whistleblower Edward Snowden planned to take after he left the United States. Snowden first flew from his home in Hawaii to Hong Kong, where he leaked secrets before escaping to Moscow. He was then due to fly into Ecuador via Havana, but at the time of this recording, he is still in the transit area of Moscow Airport. Mentally, you should all be transported to a man sitting on one of those blue chairs. Bing bong. Havana. Bing bong. He's sitting there, just, you know.
Just him and a lot of people in trench coats and trilbies. Big newspapers with eye holes cut out. Bing bong.
Bing bong.
They don't know. They're kind of struggling to catch him as he comes off the plane. I've got a plan. Have they tried standing there with a board with Edward Snowden written on it, just standing there?
He said he was relieved to land in Moscow, but then he was flying Aeroflot. So I should imagine everybody was relieved to land in Moscow.
Ah, poor Aeroflot.
God, I flew Aeroflot once from... When I was a student, I flew Aeroflot from Beijing to Moscow. And I sat next to a bloke who had a mole, and he had a hair growing out of his mole, which was brushing against my face.
If you had to flee, if you did actually reveal things, where would you, you know... It's very difficult to find somewhere you could go, but if you were to lie low...
Devon.
Leicester.
Devon. Leicester.
No one would ever look for you in Leicester.
See, I love that. I love that.
I mean, let's face it, Richard III, he was there for ages.
He was literally lying low.
I remember saying this to my wife and said, where would you go if you had to lie low? And she went, probably my parents' house. And you're going, you're not getting the immediacy I'm trying to get across here, right?
She thought you said, where would you go if you wanted to lie low?
Actually, there were loads of journalists. The flight that he was supposed to take, and you know what seat he was in?
17A.
Yes, it was 17.
205.
That's Aeroflot seat 17A. That he's supposed to be there.
Did he sit next to a man with a massive mole and a hair growing out?
No, in fact, he is the massive mole.
Oh, well.
I'm hoping they release a statement going, where is he? He's where he's always been. He's in our hearts. More like because he crosses the world all the time. Nobody's ever seen him. He's there, like whatever. And anything you write, any letter you write, he gets to read. He's Santa Claus.
Should we all be leaving mince pies out for him? Is that how it
The CIA will trap him in the end with just a little glass of sherry, a carrot and 2 mince pies.
Mummy, look, Edward Snowden's been here tonight. The carrot is half eaten.
My emails have been read.
Who could we soon be seeing on the back of a £5 note?
Is it the Queen?
OK, depends which way you turn the note. You're absolutely right, but I think let's define that as being the front of the note, right? Who's on the other side of the note to the Queen?
Unlike the earlier question, I hope the answer isn't Hitler this time.
It's, at the moment, it's someone called Elizabeth Fry, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Who is, I think, Stephen's mother or the person who invented Turkish Delight.
Churchill is going to be on it, and there's been a bit of controversy because he's knocking off a lady, Elizabeth Fry. And if he was
Hang on, from the note, rather than getting her...
That'd be a hell of a note, though, wouldn't it? Churchill knocking off Elizabeth
You fold it a certain way, they start doing it.
This is the proposed £5 note with Churchill's face on it. Yeah, mind you, critics of their being saying, well, that means there'd be no women on the notes, have been assuaged by a move to...
no, but I think they should have a feminist icon on it. Not least because it means it'll be very uncomfortable for men to go to strip joints. I just like the idea of them having to put Emmeline Pankhurst in a woman's G-string.
I just got to say, and I'm not a huge expert on them, but if you're putting fivers into a G-string, you're at, like, the most low-rent strip joint. It really is. Like, they're gonna love you when you go, one of these, maybe? This is £5 for you. I have some change. How much do I get for £4.20?
Did you say they have to have a woman on the £5 note, because if they put one on the next one up, she'd become known as the tenner lady.
If you were governor of the Bank of England and it was your choice who goes on the notes, wouldn't you have a bit more fun than that when you go fiver? That's me and Menorca. There. Tenner, that's me meeting Kofi Annan. 20, naked lady. How did that get in there? 50, me and Jeff Boycott.
That may list off some of the other prototypes that are included for the month, because this is an ongoing debate because they change them all the time.
Yeah.
For the fiver, the initial plan was to have this. And then the value rises steadily. For the tenner, obviously, we have this. Particularly jaunty face for 20 quid. That actually works. That actually shockingly does. That really means something.
That would stop you spending that. That's
There's no way
you'd go,
put that
no.
No, I have to keep that because you won't.
Put that back in your pocket.
Obviously, there are issues of nation and nationality. So this is the €50 note, which was the original. But actually,
You look a bit like Gorbachev with that fine.
That's very good. At the end of that round, the points go to Josh, Holly, and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear on a fitness DVD.
OK, let's get you sweating in your own living room. I know you're an illegal immigrant.
Today we're going to work on our 3 problem areas. That's bums, tums and Afghanistan.
Do you want rock-hard buns? Then you need to get to Greg's at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Really stretch it out. Come on, really stretch it out. You're nearly there. Can you feel the burn? Can you? Good. OK, now you've got your leotard on, we can do the exercise.
So that's 3 minutes in, and it's time to wave goodbye to our American viewers.
Hi, I'm Il McPherson, and welcome to Wankercise.
Hello and welcome to Get Thin on Heroin.
I got rid of all the extra weight I had when I was pregnant just by leaving him on a stranger's doorstep.
If you find weights really boring, do what I do. Don't wait.
Now, I find squats very important because I can't afford to pay my own rent.
Are you still too big to fit into that dress? Don't worry about it. Just go to Leeds. The women there don't seem to give a shit.
And now I can completely fit into the bikini. Of course, sometimes my cock flops out, but...
Hello and welcome to Pilates at Home. All the fun of Pilates without the embarrassment of farting in a church hall.
Hello, and welcome to Dara O'Brien's Bunga Bunga Workout.
OK, the next topic is unlikely things for a vet to say.
Of course your monkey's got diabetes. You've been feeding him Cocoa Pops for 20 years.
I know it's expensive, Mrs. Smith, but if you want your cat put down, you're going to have to make 9 appointments.
No, I'm afraid Timmy won't be coming out of hibernation soon, and that's because he's not actually a tortoise, he's a Fray Bentos pie.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut open the stomach of your Rottweiler and hopefully I'll have both of us out of here in no time.
Oh, if only they could talk, I'd be in prison.
The bad news is we've had to chop off one of Fido's legs, but the good news is you put roller skates on him, that's 3 million hits on YouTube right there.
You're right, Mrs. Thomas. This is the first beaver I've seen. Now, what pet have you brought in?
The good news is your snake has survived. The bad news is he's never going to walk again.
Well, sir, if you think this treatment is too expensive, I suggest you get your meerkat to find somewhere cheaper.
Well, yes, your horse is a little bit overweight, but it's nothing to worry about. Oh, it's a dog.
We just had the test results back on the cows, and it's not good, I'm afraid. They're 10% horse meat.
I'm afraid it's dead, Mr. Forsyth, but I would say maybe you shouldn't have kept it on your head for so long.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to put your dog down. Rover, you're a fat, lazy arsehole who couldn't catch a stick to save his life.
Mr. Johnson, you spoil that dog. Not only are you overfeeding him, but he's quite capable of licking his own balls.
At the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Gary. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Josh Widdicombe, Holly Walsh and Annie Parsons. Commiserations to Chris Allison, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. Thank you for watching. I'm Darwin. Good night.
What the Week returns next Thursday at 10 with guests Milton Jones, Ed Byrne and Ava Vidal.